Is Novak Djokovic really close to saying goodbye to tennis? At 37 and with more than 2 decades at the top, many see him as a legend nearing the end of his journey. However, Noel himself has something to say about it. In a recent interview, the Serbian has cleared up all doubts about his future in the sport. Despite early exits and the struggles to reach his long-awaited 100th title, Djokovic has sent a powerful message: it's still not enough. Join us to discover what motivates a legend to keep fighting and why he's not thinking about hanging up his racket just yet. Novak Djokovic is no stranger to the passage of time. In recent tournaments, it's become clear that the freshness of his prime years has started to fade. Early eliminations and difficulties in finding his best form have raised concerns. But far from giving up, the world number 5 has once again shown that his mindset is as strong as ever. During an interview with Business Traveler, Djokovic was candid when discussing his current situation. "It's difficult to get the same results as when I was at my best," he admitted. Still, he made it clear that greatness doesn't disappear, it simply transforms. According to him, each week is a new opportunity to grow and compete from a different version of himself. His battle, he explained, is not against the rising talents on the tour, but against a more familiar figure, himself. "The biggest opponent is always the person you were yesterday," he stated. With this philosophy, Djokovic continues to seek constant self-improvement, refusing to let age define his career. It's a mentality that has been key to both his rise and his enduring dominance at the top of world tennis. Although many are already speculating about his retirement, Djokovic firmly denies it. "I still don't feel like it's enough for me," he said without hesitation. For him, when he feels he's reached his emotional and physical limit, that will be the time to put the racket down. But that day, he assures, has not yet arrived. His love for competition and hunger for victory remain intact. One of the major goals keeping his motivation alive is reaching the milestone of 100 titles, a mythical number achieved by only a few. Although it has eluded him in recent attempts, Djokovic knows he has the level and the experience to achieve it. And while that goal is still pending, his story in the ATP continues to be written. With Rome out of his plans, all eyes now turn to Roland Garros, the second Grand Slam of the season. Djokovic knows he doesn't come in as the favorite, but he doesn't see that as a disadvantage. In fact, it might be an extra source of motivation. He assures that he's focused on his preparation and that he will try to show his best version in Paris, once again, with his passion intact and the conviction that he still has much to offer. Novak Djokovic remains a born competitor. Despite his age, recent defeats, and the natural wear and tear from years of maximum effort, his mindset stays strong. He rejects the idea of retiring soon because, in his own words, he still hasn't had enough. His words reflect the spirit of a champion who doesn't give up easily. Djokovic is not only competing against other tennis players, he's battling his own limits, fatigue, and time. And as long as that battle keeps him standing, he will continue adding new chapters to one of the most remarkable careers in tennis history. Draper responds to Alcaraz, "I guess if you want to be great, you have to make sacrifices." The British tennis player pushed back on the Spanish player's recent statement that he believes enjoying life is compatible with being the best in tennis. Carlos Alcaraz's comments in the recently released documentary about him, in which the Mercian claims that he sees enjoying life and being the best is compatible, have sparked a wave of reactions in the tennis world. One of the first to speak out about Alcaraz's words was fellow Spaniard Roberto Bautista, who, in a mixed-zone interview after his defeat to Zverev, offered this advice to the Mercian, warning of how difficult it is to balance tennis with enjoying life. "I think top-level tennis demands a lot, right? I don't think Carlos is going to win Grand Slams going to bed at 7 in the morning, right? In the end, I believe tennis is very demanding. Right now everything is very nice, he's very young, but he needs to realize that if he wants to match the numbers of the big three, he has to play at a high level for 15 years. And well, I consider him a smart player and person." British player Jack Draper shares a similar view. After his win over Tommy Paul, he weighed in on the debate raised by Alcaraz, saying that performing at a high level requires sacrifices, making both things incompatible. "There's no denying that in any professional sport, especially tennis, some things are fixed. We play, compete, we're away from our families. We sacrifice our lives. If you play this sport the right way and give it your all every day, tennis is very hard. Every day I ask myself, can I keep going? And I do. I guess if you want to be great, these are the things you have to do. There are people out there with harder jobs, you know? I say that to put things in perspective. I play a sport I love, travel with amazing people, and earn a good amount of money. It's a great mental and physical challenge, but in a way, I enjoy it. I don't know how long I'll play or if I'll go until I'm 35. I'll just try to make the most of my career and reach my full potential. And I know that to achieve that, I have to give it my all. What does Jannik Sinner really envy about Carlos Alcaraz? In a revealing interview for Italian public television, the current world number one has broken his silence after serving a 3-month doping suspension. With his return to the circuit around the corner and the Rome Masters 1000 as the setting for his comeback, Sinner has reflected on his game, his emotions, and made a surprising confession about what he most admires about the young Spanish star. Could this rivalry define the future of tennis? Let's find out. Jannik Sinner is back. After a forced 3-month break, the Australian Open champion has reappeared in the media with disarming honesty. In an exclusive interview with RAI, he not only reviewed his physical condition but also his mental and technical evolution as a player. Playing tennis is like playing poker, the Italian explained, making it clear that psychology is just as important as talent on the court. In his opinion, sensing nervousness or doubts in your opponent can completely change the course of a match. And it's precisely in this emotional arena that he's learned the most during his time away. Far from being the cold, unshakable player many think he is, Sinner admitted that he too struggles with insecurity. There are moments when I don't feel my game, I get nervous because I want to prove that I'm capable, he confessed. These words shatter the unbreakable image many attribute to him. The pressure to perform at the highest level, the constant need to prove himself, and the inevitable mistakes are all part of his maturation process. Smashing the ball or breaking a racket doesn't work, he added, aware that mental control is essential on the path to greatness. Sinner also spoke about his tennis. His backhand is his strongest shot, his most reliable weapon, and he made it clear, probably the backhand is the strongest, he stated confidently. However, the Italian surprised everyone by confessing what he truly envies about Carlos Alcaraz. It's not his forehand, nor his serve, not even his titles. It's something more intangible yet extremely valuable, his ability to improvise, enjoy, and flow amid chaos. Carlos plays in a way that looks like he's in a schoolyard, just having fun, he said. That naturalness, that joy under pressure, is what Sinner wishes to incorporate into his own game. This confession adds a new layer to their rivalry. While Sinner has built his tennis on discipline, repetition, and calculation, Alcaraz plays by instinct, by passion, with that unpredictable flair that fans adore. For the Italian, bringing in that emotional component could make the difference in major tournaments. I'd like to learn to play more freely, to enjoy important matches more, he confessed. In an increasingly mental sport, Alcaraz's ability to turn every match into a show may be as decisive as a good cross-court backhand. Jannik Sinner has made it clear that his ambition remains strong, but he's also shown a rare humility among great champions. Admitting he still has things to learn, and that one of his biggest rivals has qualities he admires, says a lot about his character. This rivalry between Sinner and Alcaraz is not just about numbers, rankings, or titles, it's a battle of styles, of philosophies, and of personal growth. If he manages to add some of Alcaraz's flair to his surgical precision, the tennis world may be facing an even more dangerous version of Jannik Sinner. Has a new rival emerged for Carlos Alcaraz during his absence? While the Spanish player recovers from an injury and remains out of the Mutua Madrid Open, Argentine Francisco Cerundolo has seized the opportunity to match his records and take the spotlight in the tennis world. His incredible performance at the Caja Mágica has taken him to the semifinals, and many are already pointing to him as a growing threat to the circuit's biggest names. Are we witnessing the rise of the next big name in Latin American tennis? Let's find out. Francisco Cerundolo has stormed into the final stretch of the 2025 Mutua Madrid Open. The 25-year-old Argentine overcame a tough challenge from young Czech Jakub Mensik with a hard-fought 3-6, 7-6-5, 6-2 win, matching the 24 wins of Carlos Alcaraz and Alex de Minaur so far this season. This stat positions him as one of the most consistent and solid players on the tour this year. His path to the semifinals of the Madrid Masters 1000, his second at this level, confirms his progress and projects him toward his highest ATP ranking yet, at least world number 18. But beyond the stats, the Argentine has shown on court a maturity that until recently seemed distant. He overcame a rough start against Mensik, an explosive and rising player, and stayed strong in key moments. His poise in the second set tiebreak was decisive, and his physical and mental display in the third set showed that he's no longer just a promising talent. Cerundolo not only overcame his own ghosts, he had lost 5 straight Masters 1000 quarterfinals, but he did it with authority. This achievement in Madrid carries special significance. Cerundolo becomes the first Argentine semi-finalist at this tournament since Juan Martín del Potro in 2012, a true reference for South American tennis. And it seems Cerundolo is ready to follow in the legendary Delpo's footsteps, breaking barriers and putting Argentina back in the spotlight of top-level international tennis. His run at the Caja Mágica is already historic, but he wants more. His next challenge is Casper Ruud, another clay court specialist and someone with whom he has unfinished business since the 2022 Miami semifinal. Back then, Cerundolo lost to the Norwegian in a match where his lack of big stage experience was still evident. Today, however, he arrives with 3 titles under his belt: Båstad 2022, Eastbourne 2023, and Umag 2024, and with a much sharper competitive edge. Moreover, his playing style, aggressive yet patient, combined with a newfound emotional strength, positions him as one of the most dangerous dark horses in the draw. With solid baseline tennis, a consistent serve, and great movement, Cerundolo is delivering on the promise many saw in him from the start. Francisco Cerundolo's breakthrough into the Madrid Open semifinals not only adds depth to the tournament but sends a clear message to the rest of the tour: there's a new contender in the race for big titles. Carlos Alcaraz's absence opened a door, and the Argentine has taken full advantage of it with intelligence and determination. While they share similar win counts this year, Cerundolo's competitive growth in recent weeks makes him a name to watch closely on the European clay swing. Carlos Alcaraz takes an important step in his recovery. The Spanish tennis player returns to training, and everything indicates he will finally be able to compete in the Rome Masters 1000. Carlos Alcaraz has been the most notable withdrawal from the Mutua Madrid Open after confirming his removal from the draw due to injury. The Mercian has played a high number of matches in a short span, 10 matches in 12 days, and it has taken a toll on his physical form. The world number 3 was able to win the Monte Carlo Masters 1000 and was close to doing the same at the Conde de Godó, but in the final, his body finally said enough.